listening to the Walkout live once again from the Wheelhouse VIP Lounge.
Very nice.
Out here in beautiful Port Hueneme.
It's a great place. Well, it was pretty flooded not too long ago.
Yeah, it was.
right outside right here.
Yeah, did it get it pretty bad right here?
Oh yeah, I'm almost for certain that someone who, one of the employees here could tell you it was probably hard to get to work.
Yeah.
It was all flooded here. All of this whole... It always gets flooded, though. It's right here by the water.
My favorite part about crazy weather in the 805 is inevitably when there's too much water on a street, you're going to see some dumbass on a stand-up paddleboard going through checking mailboxes like every single time on the news. And it's not the same clip because it's different people.
That's kind of cool. I mean,
It's not cool. It's crazy.
I would do some shit like that.
Of course you would.
You know me. Always some excitement, bro.
We got to tell you, this year got off to an amazing start because I got to perform on my buddy's show, who we're going to talk to here in just a few minutes.
Right.
But I got to look across the room and see my brother sitting there in the VIP booth.
Sure.
Hanging out for the New Year. That was pretty awesome being able to ring in the New Year with you, my friend.
It was really cool. That's a little different for me in my New Year's. I've always done just different things, but the universe, our God doesn't make mistakes. So for some reason, I was gonna go to Vegas, but it didn't work out that way. So we ended up staying and figuring out a cool situation here in town. And that happened to be, you invited us out. We wanted to make sure we had a good seat. And the show was amazing. Great time, great way to spend the New Year.
Very nice, yeah. And it was perfect for me, too, because I was trying to think back on some of my favorite New Year's Eves. And this was one of my favorites because I got to do the 9 o'clock with my kids in Santa Paula, which I love to do, and I've been doing that. I actually used to do stand-up every New Year's Eve from the beginning, from my very first year of comedy all the way up until Tommy was born.
Very nice.
And that's when I was like, this is going to be family time. I might have done it the first 2 or 3 years, Tommy, when he was a baby.
Right.
Because it's not like, what's a baby going to do on New Year's Eve? Stay up till midnight.
Not much. Just hang out with I have some eggnog.
You can't throw confetti at a face of a baby like you can at a 14-year-old. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
But yeah. So yeah, it was it was special to be able to spend that time with the kids and then be able to go and be able to be around friends, you know what I mean?
Right.
It's just an amazing way to ring in the New Year.
Yeah, I'm telling you that the show, I mean, for people who were not there, you would have had to been there. Everybody on stage was amazing. It was hilarious. And I'm not a person who just laughs just to laugh. You have to make me laugh. And I had a great time, man. So yeah, thank you, and everyone who was there. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome. And speaking of everybody that was there, we've got a couple of guests tonight.
Right. And
they're over in the lounge, and they'll probably start making their way over here soon.
Yeah.
And figuring out how to put these mics near their faces. Maybe not.
Yeah.
Neither one of them's looked this direction the entire time we've been going.
But I definitely didn't want to give it away, so I haven't said who was part of that show. But yeah,
yeah, you got a surprise tonight. We'll talk about that.
Oh yeah, man. I'm. Oh gosh, there's so much that is happening right now in 2024 that I would have not even thought to happen. But that's cool. Yeah, we definitely will talk about that stuff and what I got going on. Yeah. So.
Well, sounds good. If we can bring to the mics our good friends, Mr. Phil Medina, who was the headliner of the big show there in Levity Live Oxnard. He's been kind enough to join us and hang out. A really, really good friend of mine. We've been friends for a while now.
Yeah.
6 days.
Yeah, something like that.
When we met
if you collect them all. You had them all together, 6 days. No, I'm kidding. And then another buddy of ours, you come on in, man, squeeze in here somehow if you can.
Yeah, we got a mic for you bro.
This was a special that I did for, this was a special surprise that I set up for Mark. Oh, let's make sure those mics are on. There we go.
Let's get all set up.
A special surprise that I set up for Mark.
This is really cool. I can't believe it.
Yeah, Lanxton Butler told me that he was going to make his way out this direction. And as we know, he just turned 21. So this is his first opportunity to ever hang out at a cannabis lounge. Was it everything that you imagined it would be?
Way cooler than I expected.
Yeah, you're enjoying yourself?
Yeah, I'm definitely enjoying myself. Thank you guys for inviting me, and
sure.
thank you for the happy birthday.
Yeah, man. Happy
bet.
birthday, brother.
So Phil, you've got a big event that you're going to be here and be a part of. You're gonna. It's the I forget what they call it, but it's where they put butter on each other and they roll around on the canvas-y thing.
Yeah, it's actually going to be a hot oil and lots of fat men rolling around here at the VIP lounge. I cleared it with Z and Sergio, and they were like, "Yes, please, as many fat people as you can find to put in there. That would be a great thing." KY Jelly is brought to you by Don Chentes. Don Chentes and Oxnard. Try them today. No, it's we're doing the WWE Royal Rumble here at Wheelhouse VIP Lounge. And now I understand. I know. I get it. Which, by the way, I know you're not a big wrestling fan.
I was at one point.
And then,
But they
then
lost
you got
me.
laid.
I told you what happened. I hit an age where I started critical thinking earlier than a lot of my friends were. Like my
6?
friends, yeah. Well, I was watching Cheers while my friends were like watching, Sesame Street and shit like that, right? So I hit this little area where I was critical thinking, and there was a period of time where everybody was trying to tell wrestling, dude, just admit. It's like the OJ thing. Just admit you fucking killed them. Like you've already gotten away with it. Just admit it. You know what I mean? But wrestling would not. They were relentlessly. No, it's real. It's real
Who would,
at that
who would
time.
say it was real?
This was in the WWF days. It was when if I would never say to Mark, hey, what you do is fake. But if I went to Mark and he's a WWE it was WWF days,
Right.
and it said, hey, how real is wrestling? And then he broke my neck or choked me out. How many times did that happen?
It happened a lot.
Yeah,
I know.
it's true.
Look at Richard Belzer.
Yeah.
Ask
Yeah.
him. Well, he's dead. But I think that had something to do with it. But
He was in a wheelchair for a long time.
was he?
In the later, well, maybe he just had somebody pushing him around. That might have been the reason.
Yeah, he was lazy. He was actually in a rickshaw.
Yeah, if you get that NBC money for that many years, you can afford somebody to just
And
push
you
you
get
around.
Hulk Hogan and Vince McMahon money because he was put in a just a regular front face lock that'll put anyone to sleep. And Hogan did that, and then he dropped him in the back of his head.
Oh, damn.
Cracked on the concrete. There's actually video of that.
Yeah. Wow. We gotta go. We'll have to.
Yeah, I don't
YouTube
think
that.
you want to tell a wrestler, hey, is it real? Because for some reason they are provoked to show you how real it is.
I agree. So here's the thing. Is it fake? The injuries aren't fake. If you go
No.
look up Sid Vicious leg break, that's definitely not fake.
Right.
The injuries are real. The athleticism is real.
Right.
The only thing that's it's predetermined, and we know that it's a television show.
Well, you wouldn't be
It's-
able to do a lot of the things that they do if it wasn't predetermined.
Both of us right now are wearing football hats of our favorite football team, which is also, as we are seeing this in 2023, which seems to be very predetermined.
Wow.
And so
Nah, my team's doing good. That ain't true. That ain't true.
my prize pick
I-
says different.
My
I've
quarterback's
been
not
fighting,
Dak.
and things seem to be kind of predetermined on
Ooh.
something.
Yeah,
I
I've got to
mean,
forward you. I got to forward you a video of his fight and get your take on it.
tell you.
Definitely, because I'm a huge combat sports fan. Huge combat sports fan. With WWE though, and which it's such a it's television. It's good television that I enjoy watching, and not just me. There's 80 million other people that love professional wrestling in the state that it's in today. And to bring it to Wheelhouse for a watch party is bananas. Because I saw what they were doing with the UFC. I'm like, well, let's see, the WWE and UFC, they're both owned by the same parent company. Maybe we can see if they got a similar fan base.
Yeah.
And it seems like we're going to sell this event out by the end of the week.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Very
Well,
good.
it's only 40 tickets we can sell. So it's going to be fun. But we just went to WWE as we were talking. I was texting
Yeah.
you back and forth.
Yeah.
I went to the LA Forum to see WWE. Non-televised event, 17,000 people. Sold out.
So great.
Yeah.
It's still a great
$1
venue.
million gate on a non-televised event.
Have you ever participated in an event at the Forum or have gone to an event at the Forum?
I have not, but I actually grew up right next to the Forum.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, we got to get you over there. There's always, because they still run through a lot of fights. I think I've seen Bellator there.
Yeah, I've seen,
Combate
UFC
was
there.
there once. I've seen a few different promotions there.
Yeah.
We got to get some, and then UFC's coming back to San Diego. We got to take a look at that card.
Better
coming
believe it. We got to be in the house there.
So So there's very few tickets left for your event, right?
Yeah, less than 40 tickets left. Yeah.
Less than 40. Oh, no.
So it's not.
That's
a
a
lot,
low
but
ticket warning.
That is a very low ticket warning. But that's. But again, because of the marketing that I'm doing behind it, with everything that I'm pushing it with, as you saw the New Year's show, I'm sure we'll talk about that. But it was. Yeah, man, it's. I wanted to bring that here because I think that there's a market for it. Plus, open bar.
Yeah, the open bar situation. Mark can attest to that. Mark's been here for open bar.
Yeah, you come here, you pay what, $50 and you're inside. I mean, and they treat you great here, so you can't beat it. Period.
$50, and for WWE it's 40 and 45. It's
Wow.
cheaper.
There you go.
And like I was telling him, for UFC events you got to pay for those.
Yeah.
And those are because of the atmosphere and the location. It's anywhere between $800 to $1,000 to order it on pay-per-view. WWE PLE is free. Nice. It's on Peacock, so it's already in the black. It's already making money.
Right.
There could be two people here, and they're making money.
Yeah.
Nice.
So it was a no-brainer. And I've I've worked for Wheelhouse for going on 6 years now.
Yeah.
So and you remember when all that started, but.
And you're a big part of like when they do a lot of their giving events and their charitable efforts as well. That's a big part of what makes our community go around is companies like Wheelhouse being out there in the forefront.
For sure.
I mean, Z invited us to the Boys and Girls Club breakfast that they had out there at Spanish Hill, or I think it was Spanish Hills, just a few weeks ago. And just Wheelhouse is always in the forefront of just making sure that these local causes are being tended to.
It's important for Wheelhouse to do that. That's part of their mission statement and their pillars in their business is give back to the community. And there's a lot of dispensaries in this area, and I've worked here and I've worked for another one, as you know, before that. Mm-hmm. Nothing is like Wheelhouse. There's nobody else out there. It's not just because I'm currently working for them. I would say this if I didn't work for them. There's nothing like Wheelhouse in any area that I've been to. I've seen dispensaries in Vegas. I just did some dispensary stuff over there. Nothing like Wheelhouse.
No,
everything's for profit. Where here, it's for the community.
Yeah, you see them in a lot of community stuff, and I mean a lot.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's articles on it. They're in the paper, so it shows. That's it's top. So that's really cool.
I'm not trying to put my arm around you. I got comfortable.
Oh yeah, you don't even worry about it, brother. You're good, brother. You're good.
Speaking of Vegas,
Yeah, I've got the least what are they ergonomically correct mics that you can imagine.
Yeah.
If you could point it towards your face and I can just turn it up too.
How's that? Is that better?
Oh, that's great.
Because I hear feedback, and I'm also an audio guy, just like you, Daddy.
Do you hear feedback?
A little bit.
Oh, it's only on that. Then.
Okay, then we're good. As long
it's turned this. Yeah, it should be.
As long as I'm not, I don't want to mess up anything.
Nah, you ain't.
Because I want to get comfortable.
Yeah.
Because I want to get comfortable.
Yeah, it feels like, okay, I'm hunched
what?
over. I'm over getting my abs in today.
Yeah, I was like, no, that's enough.
So what were you saying about Vegas?
Oh yeah. I used to live in Vegas actually, and it's taxed on everything. If you're not a local, if you're a local, everything's discounted. But if you're not a local, so anybody that's visiting, there's a crazy tax amount.
Yeah, I mean they have some good situations out there. I mean, if you're going out there to party and partake, but like he said, I mean, you're in Vegas. They're there to take your money, and I doubt that they're gonna give you back any part of it whatsoever. So that's why.
Yeah, they don't have it's not really a community. Vegas is more like a machine. It's like
For sure.
get people coming in, get their money.
The suburbs is pretty community. My brother-in-law used to live there.
Henderson.
And, they hated tourists.
Yeah, Henderson.
Like,
Yeah, you're right.
They did not want that stadium to go up. I mean, it's the Raiders, so of course I can see why. If a different team, it'd be different. But they didn't want that stadium there. I'm sorry. I just can't help myself sometimes. Are you a Raider fan?
No, I'm not even a sports fan really.
Okay. You're not a Raider
Besides
fan.
combat.
No.
Okay.
Yep.
Dude, what is wrong with these Raider fans? They think they're going to the Super Bowl this year. Sorry, had to get that out.
I went to a Raider game at the Raider Stadium, and it was funny. They lost.
Yeah, it happens more than often.
I saw so many of the fans fighting amongst each other inside the stands.
Yeah, for sure.
Because somebody dropped the food stamp, and the next thing you know, it's just...
It's ever since we came out of COVID, people cannot hold their shit together at public events.
No, Rams fans are the worst.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of Rams fans. That's like one of
You see
those
them a lot. Do you see those
fictional
jerseys?
characters that I didn't see hardly any of, 5 years ago. All of a sudden, they're everywhere.
I actually, at Levi Stadium, no, I'm not talking trash or nothing, but at Levi Stadium, they were fighting each other over there.
Oh, yeah, Niner fans.
Why?
Ever since the Niners moved from, because the only time you ever saw that at Candlestick Park was when the Raiders were there. It was
Right.
Niners and Raiders, and Niners fans, played into it just as much. But once they went to Levi Stadium, it was a totally different atmosphere. I have a story for you. It's kind of crazy. So I went to my first game at Levi Stadium. I was on the field. I went with Carlos Alazraqui, and I wore a Joe Montana Pro Bowl jersey. And if you know anything about football, the NFC's colors are blue, and the AFC wore red in the Pro Bowl in those days, right? So I'm wearing this Joe Montana jersey, wearing it all day, and as I was leaving the stadium, there were these two young dudes sitting, and they were they looked like I don't even know how to describe it. They just looked like they wanted to start trouble. You know what I mean? They just looked like they wanted to start shit. So the dude goes, "Hey, what kind of jersey is that?" And I said, "It's Joe Montana." And he goes, "Good thing. I was going to kick your ass."
Wow.
And I go, "Man, good thing." The two dudes together weighed maybe half of what I weigh. So I wouldn't have had any problem just banging their heads together a few times. You know what I mean?
Right.
Three Stooges out there?
Good thing. Yeah.
Oh, my God. Dude, you know what, man? I think that I went to Levi Stadium when they actually first opened, too, for WrestleMania 31.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, that was a wild event, and all I did was make fun of people in the audience, because wrestling fans can be some of the dumbest people I've ever seen in my life. Grown men. Wait a minute. That's me. No, but they're getting all excited, jumping around, dressing up like characters. I'm like, can't you just watch the show?
It's so funny because the MMA fans are not like that. They're totally into the action that's going on.
They are, but you get in MMA, you get people who don't fight, won't fight, but they'll tell you everything about what you should have done. And that's more annoying because if you're trying to watch, they're standing there, sitting there like, "Oh, do this, you should do that." It's like, shut the fuck up. You don't even know anything. If I grabbed you right now and choked you out, you wouldn't even know how to get out. So,
is that confusing at all when you're in the cage and there's other people yelling stuff at you too?
Oh, dude, it's so weird. I've learned to just tune out everybody and just hear my coach's voice. But before, I used to hear all types of crazy things. There's fans yelling, "Twist his." I'm not even gonna finish that, but
Wow.
Yeah.
It's all right. I'm already gonna have to bleep enough as it is.
Yeah,
I've already dropped the F-bomb 9
I'm not gonna
times.
finish that.
That's why they yell that at us when we're doing stand-up, too.
It's true. Yeah, stand-up's turned into
but
that.
you guys are good when people blurt out stuff. You guys catch them good and get them to shut up. And I noticed that's pretty cool to interact, and you're doing your show and then somebody blurts out something stupid and you guys are like, boom, shut up. You guys hit them really hard. So I like that you guys have that interaction.
I have a record for working with the Smash Brothers and throwing people out of the shows because they get mouthy. And then Corey and Chad will be like, "Hey, Phil, since before you came along, we never threw anybody out of the shows. You're at 19 already."
God, Smash Brothers are hilarious.
Yeah, aren't they great?
Man, that's some comedy right there.
That was a special treat to have them right here in Oxnard for New Year's Eve too.
Yeah, have Brother Phil there, Smash Brothers, all the people on the bill. It just was.
Denise Carter freak dancing me as she brought me to the stage.
She funny.
Okay, now.
Yeah, Denise is funny as shit too. It was really, really cool.
Yeah, we know. We caught that in the monitor in the back. We were like, "Whoa, what's going on over there? What do we know about here?"
I just did the. And Tommy Davidson, I think, got mad at me because I introduced him to the stage, the very first night. You do 5-6 shows with those guys, and the very first night he goes, "Dance, dude, dance," and I was like, I don't dance on stage, you know what I mean? So then I just started doing some really stupid thing, and then he goes, "No," like that. And then the rest of the time he didn't ask me to dance. He's a funny dude to talk to, though. If off stage where he'll have stories, and he's not even trying to be funny, and they're hilarious just because how he talks.
Yeah, just his character. He's funny in general.
Who's one of your favorite people you've worked with over there? I remember you really. Yeah, I remember you really liked Theo Vaughn. You even called me after working with him.
Theo was really nice. Theo was very funny. It's some of the stuff he would say where if anybody else said it, you'd be a little offended. But the stuff he said to me, I'll never forget it. And I laughed. And he goes, and then it was just like nothing. Like he just randomly says stuff. And I thought it was the funniest thing I ever heard. But probably my favorite one, hands down, Steve Trevino.
Yeah.
Steve Trevino is such a book of knowledge and gave me a really, because, okay, you know how as comics, we all sign the wall, right? We think that's like, oh, how cool is that, sign the wall? Well, I'm sitting right where I signed the wall. He looks up, he goes, did you sign this wall? And I'm like, he goes, I hope you did. And I was like, nah, I sure didn't. Covered my name. And he goes, does Dave Chappelle walk into the comedy clubs and sign the wall? I'm like, whoa. He goes, don't sign the wall. And I'm like, yes, sir. I won't sign the wall. And I look at any comedy club you've been to, Steve Trevino has not signed that wall.
Steve Trevino is amazing. He's one of those guys that will absolutely root for you too. He's not threatened by your success. Me and Lanxton were talking earlier about how ego gets in the way of success, because like the Southern California, if you don't mind going like kind of through how there was like some splintering of the camps, and then all of a sudden everybody's all separated.
Oh yeah, there used to be like a lot of the SoCal MMA fighters. A lot of us used to train within the same gyms, but now everybody branched out and created their own gym because there's all these beefs going on, and everybody has these ego problems instead of making each other better. When, in my opinion, I think California could have the best fighters in the world if everybody just gets over their ego and we all just work together at that goal.
It's very true. I mean, if you went out to Texas, I get the privilege of going out there and, being around 4-ounce guys and being around all these other guys in the UFC. And when I'm there, they cross-train all through Houston, Dallas, Austin. They train in different gyms. And that is a benefit. That is definitely a hindrance here in California. And you're right. That's why we don't have as many tough fighters that come from here or such a big name, because everyone has their own cliques. No one wants to work together, so everyone technically just pulls each other down. So, yeah, it's kind of horrible in fact.
The funny thing, everything you just said, bro, doesn't that sound just like stand-up?
It does, absolutely.
It's 100% the same way. Egos get in the way. California, you would think, would be the place where this is it. When you're in Los Angeles, this is where everybody's cool, but it's not like that at all. You know where they're like that? In Texas. And I still, to this day, think the best comics come out of San Antonio.
Wow, that's
and
cool.
It seems like comics are starting to move towards Texas.
Right.
A lot of comics are. And I mean, a lot of it's the Joe Rogan effect, but there is a lot of comics that you never would think would leave L.A. that are heading that way. It's pretty wild.
Steve Trevino lives in Texas.
Yeah, he was one of the first ones to do it. He's been there a while. Yeah, he's a really good dude and so funny.
He's the best I've ever seen for an hour and a half. Now, I've worked with a lot of people, and I don't want to mention names. Maybe after we're done, I'll tell you. But one guy I worked with, he a 4-hour show. We're doing karaoke at the end.
Which Wayans was that?
It wasn't the one you're thinking.
It definitely wasn't Shantae.
Damon Jr.
Shantae doesn't run the light. Shantae and I were once very, very close friends. We just have drifted apart. We're still friends, but
it was we were doing karaoke at the end of it, and people are just walking out. It's like 2:30 in the morning.
Why?
And it's like, you're an A-lister. What are you doing? Let's get out of here. I want to go home. I got a long drive back to Oxnard.
Was there any comics that, and you don't have to answer this.
Oh, I definitely will. I don't care.
So were there any comics that you got lined up with where you're like, oh, this person's going to suck because maybe they're more famous for something else, and then they kind of surprised you that they actually had more comedy chops than you expected?
Yes. And I won't mention his name, but again, I'll tell you when we're done. YouTube comic.
Yeah.
YouTube comic, and I was like, everybody was saying this guy is not good, and you're gonna blow him out of the water, and I'm like, okay, dude, and I've been doing this 15 years. This was this year or last year that it happened. I did not do that great. They were definitely there for him. He went up and murdered. I have seen so many YouTube comics that it's ridiculous. They're like the Charlie Zilanov of the Russian guy who thinks he's a boxer and he's really not a boxer. He's a YouTube guy. Have you guys seen him?
Oh, yeah. Dude, I used to love that dude when he first started. And then I started thinking, when I realized that he actually believed what he was putting out, that's when I lost interest. When I thought it was shtick, I was like, God, this is really brave comedy.
Yeah. Oh, now you guys are starting to talk about. I remember that.
I remember
dude,
talking about.
Little scrawny dude.
Yeah.
He had a
and
big
try to
mouth.
slip people.
You're right. He would come
go in the
knock
gym
some.
and-
Yeah.
Want to spar? And then people like, just I'm like, oh my god. So that's what. And Tom, you've seen this with YouTubers or TikTokers. They go up, they're not good. They don't have the time. And in stand-up, it's like being a fighter. You have to have that stamina.
Yeah.
You've got to have the time. If you don't have the time, you just charge everybody $30 a ticket for 10 minutes of material, and it's not good. This guy, I became a fan. And I became a fan of how he conducted himself backstage. Because I've worked with some TikTokers, and we talked about one that I saw in Pittsburgh, that did not conduct themselves to the best of their ability, and she was a horrible human being, and when we left, she was humbled. This guy didn't need that. He was so good, so smart, very religious for some reason. Excuse me, very religious for some reason, and that was shocking.
Yeah.
So it was really, really good. He was a super nice guy. Shocked me.
Yeah, the YouTube, it seems like the YouTubers that I've worked with had huge entourages. Like they needed to be surrounded by people who were telling them they're doing a good job or whatever. Exactly. And there was a little bit of a lifeboat thing to them where it's like, oh, I could always call so-and-so out and say, hey, this is the dude that, jumped out of the trash can at the mall, and they have that to go to. So that's what I experienced. Like it seemed like a lot of them had a lot of
and not even to be negative, because we're just telling it like it is. I'm sure you guys see fighters who are nowhere near that level, and they think that they're there. They think that they're there because they can beat me up. They think that they're there, and we've worked with someone that, again, we're not gonna mention names, but who's a YouTuber or a whatever social media guy, and they think that they're at this higher level, and then they treat veterans like trash, and
That's
sucks.
Wild.
You know what I'm talking about?
I think what happens a lot is people, they reach a certain level of success, and then they just don't. And I'm sure that there's a degree of this in fighters where they start reaching a level of success, and then they're training a little bit more on their own like they're no longer training alongside the team. They're there in the same building, just not at the same times and stuff like that. And I saw that a lot over at Garcia's over there. I used to saw that quite a bit, but I forgot where the hell I was going with that.
Well,
that's the dangers of doing podcasts in a cannabis lounge.
In a smokehouse, yeah. That's no, and that's okay. No, but I think too with
Oh, that's what it is. And I think they protect themselves. I think a lot of comics get to a certain level, and they protect themselves by trying to put comics that aren't very strong in front of them. Do you know what I mean?
100%.
And you and I have always had the exact opposite kind of a way of doing it, where we try to put comics that challenge us.
Corey and Chad told me flat out, listen, you better, because I tour with those guys, and they're like, you better hit it out of the park. We want you to make it so hard for us that's the only way you're going to grow.
Cool.
They like to walk out to like a Shark Tank. They like to walk out to people just ready to go.
And you know where they learned that? From
Ralphie. Yeah.
Ralphie told them. Ralphie would. They have not threatened me, but Ralphie would tell them, "Hey, baby, you boys better go out and kill it. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna go out first, and you guys close the show." So I got a headline night, and I like to bring the Smash Brothers a surprise out of respect.
Right.
Well, what happened?
Look who's here. We were just talking about you.
We was.
Yeah,
We're in the middle.
joke.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Our host, we were just talking about Denise Carter.
She walks in.
So with them, I have a show coming up in Bellflower, and Corey told me, he goes, "Hey, you're gonna close the show. We're gonna go up first. We're gonna do 20. You're gonna do 45." And I said, that's not necessary. He goes, it is necessary because it's what we're trying to do for you is what Ralphie did for us.
Yeah.
That is unheard of.
It's the program.
We just had a guy open the Dirty Show in Ontario. He's an opener for probably the most famous comedian right now.
Yeah,
young guy.
I know who you're talking about.
His name starts with whatever.
Yeah, I know who it is.
I'm not gonna say.
I know exactly who it is.
Dude, and I was surprised that opener was as not as strong as he was. I'm like, you're on the road with him all the time.
I think I hung with you that night.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
Were you shocked too?
No, because I've seen that effect. That's the effect of comedy. I hit a certain level in comedy where I do pretty good just about every time. Not a lot of people want to fuck with you when you're like that, because it's either I'm going to have to stand outside and hear everybody go, man, you were my favorite, or you were my, and not that everybody's going to have that effect, but they don't want that people don't want to go through that. So you get in this weird place where you don't have an opener spot, but I don't have the following, or I don't have the whatever to like be out headlining every night, and I definitely don't have the time to be out doing that. So it's kind of like a weird place, and what they're doing is they're doing what I call like the program. Right. Is, we've talked about with George Lopez and my buddy Tom McGillen. McGillen brought him out on the road, kind of got him used to it. Lopez had a work ethic that was probably even stronger than Tom's, because Tom likes to, chill out and look at the stars at night. But Lopez pushed, and he would hang out at the radio stations, and he would push, and he would do all this media. And then next thing you know, Lopez is one of the first comics in years selling out arenas.
Right.
And he brings Tom McGillen out to open for him, because that's the program. We kind of look out for each other as we find each other along the path.
And that's the thing with, and I didn't mean to cut you
No,
off. I do
not
apologize. Don't hit me. The Smash Brothers remind me a lot of you, Tom, because when I first came here, nobody would give me a chance. They were just like, no, we're not interested, not interested. And Tom, somehow, I don't even know how we hooked up, but Tom was like, hey, I'll put you on my show.
I think it was a Grinder app, if I remember right. It was like, no, I'm kidding. Mark scooted away from me. My brother scooted away from me.
Yeah, come closer, Daddy.
I'm locked in here. I'm locked in.
You showed me so much love when I first got here, and it was so weird because I was like, okay, like, what's he want from me? And it was because I had been in the game already a little while.
Yeah.
And then for you to show me that love, and then Tom made sure I got my first room at Ventura Harbor. Actually, he co-signed on it and said, I promise it'll be full. He'll fill it up.
And I called and called certain ownerships out when they fucked with your money at times, and when there was different things like that. And it was like, I think that's how it's supposed to work. Right. I think we're supposed to look out for each other. I just remember it was on social media, and your attitude towards comedy was very similar to mine, because I had a point where I was having this anxiety, and we've talked about this with the cage, where I was like, I'd have this anxiety and I wasn't sure what to do with that energy. And then when I got into this mode where I would stare down the mic like it was my opponent,
right.
It was my buddy Joe Sanfilippo kind of was like, hey, you got to look at it as an excitement instead of a nervousness. As I would stare down the mic, that's what I'm thinking. All right, I'm gonna literally fight this thing, and you get this attitude going out. So when you would say it's clobbering time, it reminded me exactly of what I'm going through, stepping up to the mic, going, "You're in for it tonight."
Yeah, I remember one good thing at the New Year's show that Phil said, and he was like, he's toured around with all kinds of people, but it took the Smash Brothers to finally like recognize and take you out on the road. And I just was like, that's just how it is in everything, where like you could be around a bunch of people who they got it all, they've been there, back around, and they will not bring you up, and they'll be your friends, they'll be smiling in your face, but it takes like one special person who sees it, and they're the ones who bring, probably somebody you wouldn't even expect to help you.
Yeah,
it's the person who helps you. And it's just kind of like it's happened to me tons of times. And when I heard that at the show, I remember just kind of like, I just took that like, fuck, even Phil has had that happen to him, where
we were talking about that before you guys came in with Lanxton and his journey ending up with UFC legend Joe Daddy.
Yeah, that's exactly how the fight game is. It's weird. The people that you think will help you out don't help you out, and the people that you never would expect to help you out, they're the first ones to be at your door to make sure.
Come on, we all knew John Jones was more interested in cocaine and hookers than he is in helping you. We know better.
Oh my God!
Sounds like a nice guy.
Oh my God! I love God.
No, but it's true though, because Joe Daddy doesn't need to be coaching.
He doesn't.
He doesn't have to be doing that. He can be out making more money with his, especially with his charisma, his personality. He can be, because coaching is not a rich man's game.
Yeah. Joe Daddy has all the accolades to do whatever he wants in this world. He's ex-UFC champion. He's done it all. Won season 2 of The Ultimate Fighter, which not many very people can say they won The Ultimate Fighter before.
Yeah.
Or even competed on it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
he's a good dude.
Nothing but respect for my coach Joe Daddy.
For sure. Yeah. Every time we are in vicinity of each other, it's always a great man. You know, really cool. So you're lucky. It's cool.
You just told him that when he came by the booth, we're like,
hey,
we want to talk to you on your way back in. He's like, hey, I'm going to 7-Eleven. You guys want anything? And we're like,
now we're
threw
good.
us off guard.
Thank you. Yeah, it was cool. Yeah, real cool.
And speaking of Sparstar, we're going to be back at Sparstar coming up just a couple of weeks. That is coming up on January 20th. That's right.
January 20th.
And we're going to be there live, and we're going to have we're not going to be broadcasting live, but we're going to be catching up with a bunch of our fighter friends.
Everybody in the house.
Our buddy Mr. Butler is going to be over there with us as well.
For sure. And if anybody is in the house, you guys are going to be looking for, fight gear, anything that has to do with training. Of course, I will be in the house. My fight shop will be there. So, of course, that's that's my store that I have. I'm going to have a pop-up there next to our setup for the podcast. So come by, check us out. Everything from gloves to mouthpieces to hand wraps to shorts to everything.
Even if you're just a fan, even if you don't need gear, and there was a couple of people that did that at the Collectors Expo that bought gloves and got them signed by like Chris Beal,
because
Tabitha, and all that.
I try to keep some things that so you can a person can buy something and go get it signed for memorabilia. So it's there's stuff for every person, for every facet.
I've got to double check, but I think we might have Tony Cortez signing at the My Fight Shop West Coast table as well. And are we allowed to talk about your relationship with him?
Speaking of Tony Cortez, me and Tony are training tomorrow morning.
Nice.
He does some sparring with Tony.
Oh yeah,
that's some iron sharpening right there, bro.
He's I follow him on Instagram. He's a real cool dude. He fights constantly. He's always sharpening his skills, always boxing, always working on his wrestling, Muay Thai, everything. So yeah, you're gonna have a good time working out with him for sure.
Most definitely. Now, me and Tony, we actually we both teach out of the same gym, the Zone Fitness facility in Riverside.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
And Tony's he's like 15-0 now or something like that. Like he's like just got this. He goes out and it's like seconds. It's not like you don't get into minutes. You don't get into rounds. It's like seconds.
No.
And he was just plowing through everybody. He fights for Combate now, but I'm not sure how long his contract will last, but there's going to be a lot of people offering him some
His mentality is that he is not going to be fake and be your friend. He's supposed to fight you, so he's not going to come out and he's not going to shake your hand and he's not going to be like, oh, have a good fight, good luck. He's going to be like, F you, I'm going to knock your head off when I get in there and kick you in your mouth. That's it. Truthfully, he goes in with that attitude and he comes out the winner with that same attitude.
Me and Tony are kind of like completely different people. I'm
Humble.
kind of a nice, I'm a lot nicer guy, and the way I see it is, I don't even know you. Why do I have a beef with you? You know what I mean? But
I think some people have to do. Ronda Rousey was one of those people that had to find a reason to hate her opponent. It was very bizarre. Because you could tell by when she would talk, she would get into these conversations, these interviews, and she would speak a nonsense. You're like, what? She did, what's your cat? What are you talking about? But she had later talked about how she had, studied Mike Tyson and learned how to sell a fight. So she just started talking crazy. You don't get crazier than I'm going to eat your kids. Like, that's about as crazy as you could get for selling a fight.
Fighting was, for me, I guess, it's one of those things where I don't hate you or I'm not going to get angry because I like to use calmness. Yeah. You got to be calm. So if you're calm, you're going to win this fight because I'm not going to use anger. I'm not going to get into it with you. Not that, it wouldn't help me a little bit, but no, I just rather be calm. So
you was too calm in that first fight. That
for sure, and
I was scared.
That ended in a knockout.
Yeah,
that I didn't even know was going to happen. That's what
so
I mean.
Great. Yeah.
How calm you can be. I never knew that was going to happen, but it came very easy. And after that, they always tell you as a fighter, if you do it one time, then you know that you have a knockout punch. And it's true because it's happened in other fights that I've had. So it's true. Once you see that you have knockout power, you remember what you did and you use that same thing, and it just happens like clockwork. Nah.
Man, that's crazy. But my favorite thing about Tony Cortez was that, so we were calling the fights kind of like as a companion piece. And so we had a booth there, and we're sitting there, we're broadcasting, and Tony's grandma is at the fight, and she thinks we're the DJs.
Yeah.
And so she's wanting to know when her grandson's coming up. She tried to get us to change his walkout music.
Yeah.
And we're like, we're not controlling anything that's going on in this building right now.
She was a nice lady, though. She was, is he fighting next? We're like, hold on, let me get the paper free. Yeah, he's coming up. No, 3 more fights.
We're sitting there talking.
He has a huge following, though. Like, at the MMA fights, that's not like, people are like family. If you go to boxing matches, a little different. So I work for 360 Promotions, and they, that's Tom Loeffler. They promote a lot of, big boxing matches. Now, you might see someone get into a fight there because this is boxing. There's actual rivalries where people do not like each other, and these dudes have to cross each other in L.A. So, L.A. against L.A., it's a big rivalry. But if you go to the MMA matches, it's kind of like a family deal. Everyone's fairly chill, and you don't see fights. Everybody kind of fights, and they shake hands, and there's people are actual, know each other in the fight circle. So it's kind of a really safe place to go.
I was telling Mark on a previous episode, so I worked for a football team down in San Diego a few seasons ago, and part of my job was I had different things that I had to gather before I would go get ready to, because I was the on-field PA announcer. And so the locker room was so uncomfortable. But anytime I go into an MMA locker room, it's so comfortable because everybody's in their own little world. They're, nobody's really worried about you. Coaches are like glad to see a new face because they've been sitting there looking at the same dudes bouncing around nervously for the last 5 hours since weigh-in, and nobody wants to drive all the way back home and come back to the venue. It's a really cool environment, and I think that also kind of like you can see it out in the crowd. Like it goes out into the entire event. Right. I guess is what I'm saying.
True, very true. Yeah. So like I know that I have a opportunity to fight 2 times this year. One could possibly be up north, and the other one is in Houston. Both of those fights are gonna be pro fights. So I'm 46 right now. By the time I'm 50, I want that to be the thing that I have, that I did my pro fights, and that's where I want to be.
You're 46, but you've got a young body for 46 because you haven't been fighting a lot.
Nah, I haven't done, no sports, no nothing. That's why when Phil asked me, he said, you got a sports team? I'm like, no. And everyone who knows me knows that. Like, we start talking baseball, football, soccer, whatever the hell. I have no idea. But if we start talking combat sports, that's the only time that I ever took interest in sports was when it had to do with fighting.
The commission should take that into account, like how much history, you know what I mean? That's something that should be taken into account.
The problem is commissions don't really get to know us. They don't,
no, not at all.
They don't care about the fighters.
No.
Most promotions do not care about the fighter. They just care about the fighter coming to put on a show for their promotion.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's funny you talk about the commissions. Do you know that is why the WWF came out and said, "Hey, we're sports entertainment. We are not legit."
Good for them.
Was the commissions that because the sports commissions were strong arming them, especially in New York and New Jersey and California. They were strong arming, and Vince McMahon in 1986 said, "Hey, listen, we're predetermined. We're no different than the circus.
Right.
It's the same thing. The guys aren't really getting hit, and we shouldn't have to pay a sports commissioner anymore." And a judge ruled in all of those states that they don't need a commission.
Damn.
Just like anything else, any other kind of bureaucracy, the commission is so messed up.
Well, they're for
it's
for the money. That's really what it is. And you're right. They don't care about the fighters. They don't care about anything except for the fighters' check, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had a fight up north one time, and this promotion, they were supposed to book our hotels, and for some reason, our hotels were not booked when we got up there. So my coach, he got on the phone and he did Batiste Manzuri. I love Batiste. He did everything in his power to make sure we got in our rooms that night. If it was any other coach, in my opinion, we would have been sleeping in that car.
Oof. Yeah. Yep.
Have you ever had to sleep in your car for comedy?
Okay, so you're gonna think I'm a spoiled brat. No, I've always stayed at the Marriott. Because
that's right. You always had family.
I have a friend. I am an associate at the Marriott.
That's
Wow.
right.
So
And so my rooms are $49. Yeah. So when I go out of town, when I do road gigs, Corey and Chad will stay at the condo. When you
Yeah.
stay at those condos.
Yeah. They always got the one guy that doesn't even.
Doesn't use they use
verbally
the carpet
speak.
as a toilet.
Yeah.
So I'll be like, I'll see you guys. I'll be at the Marriott, and I will. So I've always done that. I'll tell a promoter like, hey, what's the budget for the hotel? It's $100. Where are you staying? Motel 6. I'm like, give me the 100, and I will upgrade my hotel. And then I just stay, and I pay $39 to $49, and I keep getting a couple extra bucks.
So when I was coming up, I did a lot of San Francisco where I would MC, and the MCs didn't get put up, and so I would get I think I was getting like $300 a week, and so I lived in Sacramento. It's about a 2-hour drive back and forth, but I would always get a hotel like Friday night and Saturday night, but it didn't make sense to get a hotel for Sunday or Thursday. So Thursdays, a lot of times I would drive back, but sometimes I would just sleep in my car on Thursday night and just wait till I could go check into my hotel room.
You know what was bullshit is that when we moved out here and I would get like a El Centro gig or a San Diego gig, my wife would expect me to drive back.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
tough.
dude, do you know how far that is?
Not doing that.
And I did. I had to because she'd take my card.
Oh, dang.
I would rather drive back right after a gig because you usually have like that energy that keeps you going.
Right.
There's like some fuel. I'm sure there's got to be that in the fight game too.
Oh, you better believe it.
That after fight adrenaline is the craziest feeling.
But the dump of the adrenaline from fighting, most time you'll get sick. You'll catch a cold because your body is susceptible. Like you're up so high, and then you're good, and then like an hour and a half later, you come down super hard, and you feel like trash.
Yeah.
Like your body hurts, your fingers hurt. All these things that you didn't feel when
All the injuries start to set
they
in.
start come leaking out from everywhere, and you're just hurt. You're just not. So yeah, you're right. You get home quick because by the time you come down, you're just not feeling too good.
This is a dumb question. After a fight, what's better, a hot shower or a cold shower?
It's supposed to be cold.
It's supposed to be
yeah.
cold.
See, that's what I would think.
Yeah.
For recovery, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Cold shower.
What do you do? I'm not trying to get in your bathing habits, but what are your...
Me personally, I do like hot showers, which is why the last few minutes of my shower, I'll just put it completely cold. That way, I get the best of both worlds.
Got you.
Right. For me, I just would take a normal shower. I only use cold water to heal. Like, so I know, and anytime I'm like messed up, all right, let me get in the cold ice bath. But more than that, I'm just gonna take a normal shower.
Tom, did you tell them how we used to take ice baths together when we were kids?
They fit like 2 dozen ice in there. That was about it.
Like 2 cubes.
They broke one tray and they started spilling out on the floor.
Dude, I gotta tell both of you guys, I have a huge respect for what both of you do, and I think that's absolutely amazing.
Thank you.
And I have been a combat sport fan my entire life, not just WWE, but I was actually, I actually ordered I stole the very first UFC pay-per-view, and have been a fan ever since then. And when I got kicked out off of cable, I jumped right over to satellite, DirecTV, so I could watch the UFC. Somewhere along the line, I stopped watching to where I'm not as into it. I'm definitely not into it at all today. However, the respect level for both of you guys is absolutely amazing. So,
Thank you, brother.
No, of course, man. It's there's no other sport like what you guys do. Your team is with you, But when it's go time, it's just you.
Yeah, it's just
It's
you.
not like in the NFL. It's not like baseball. It's not like basketball. It's just you.
Right.
And that's huge.
No, yeah, I was talking to Tom earlier, and I was telling him, in every other sport, you can kind of maybe slack off a little bit.
Right.
'Cause you have your teammates to come lift you up. I was like, in the cage, there is no slacking off for me. The second I make a mistake, lights out.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like,
There's no room for error.
yeah, there's no room for error, whereas you can make a mistake on the basketball court. You can make a mistake on the field.
Because you're trying to set yourself up to take the shot.
Yeah.
But you don't have anybody set you up to take the shot when you're
Exactly.
fighting. You got to take that shot.
But I was thinking about something though. Even though wrestling is predetermined, you still have to have respect for the
amount of
sport in
body
general.
butter that they put on each of those guys.
So you got to remember. You got to if you've never watched Dark Side of the Ring.
Oh, I love it. I
Okay, so-
love Dark Side of the Ring.
so-
I texted you through some of those.
So you watch that, and they're telling you what they're going through. Would you call that fake?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm fine with calling like you said, predetermined. You're the winner, and you're gonna be the loser tonight. But you cannot say
Can't call
that
it
that's not
Yeah.
real. That is real action, real people getting hurt. And when you listen to those stories, if you have a chance, go see the Iron Claw. I seen it. It'll tell you the story about the Van Eerdens.
The Von Erichs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Von Erichs. They'll tell you these guys, man. I don't know. I mean, fighters go through a lot of stuff. Yes, we do, but you gotta have some respect for wrestling and what they do, because if you go look and listen to them, they are, man.
They're athletes. There's
They're
no question about it.
athletes, sure.
And I'll say the perfect example right here, especially because your audience is mostly MMA fans.
yeah,
Go back and watch.
mostly fighters. We got a lot of fighters.
So they'll understand this. Go back and watch WrestleMania 11, not the whole thing, but watch Lawrence Taylor, a grade A athlete,
Oh yeah,
could not stand up by himself after, and he said it was the most exhausting thing. I have played 60 minutes of hard football. I could not get to my feet. I was so exhausted. He went to the back and puked for 3 minutes.
it's like I could not coke my way out of that situation.
And he wrestled a 400-pound, huge wrestler who was more athletic than he was.
Who was it that he
Bam
fought?
Bam Bigelow.
Right. Okay.
So he wrestled Bigelow, and it was Lawrence Taylor said, if you think that this isn't real athleticism, you are crazy. That man weighs over 400 pounds and is an athlete. I've never seen an athlete like him.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. And in the WWE, those guys, yeah, definitely it's predetermined. The characters are larger than life. Look at CM Punk. That's one of my favorite wrestlers. In the UFC, he was horrible.
Yeah.
It was
rough.
horrible. But you
Yeah.
know what? And people that critique Punk, I always say this. I've never been in any kind of level of that fighting. I can't sit here and be like, you suck.
You were a pretty good wrestler in the tub, though.
He wasn't a wrestler.
No, I said you were a better wrestler in the tub.
That
was a callback to our style.
he wasn't. He at least he did it. You know
Oh
what I mean?
yeah.
You know, at least he got out there and he did it, and
And more than once too. It wasn't
twice.
like
And he got his ass kicked twice.
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah. He said, "Well, let me go make sure that wasn't a fluke." Okay, that wasn't a fluke. I'm gonna go back.
And he cried the second time, but
Yeah.
and to Joe Rogan's point, because Joe Rogan did a whole segment on this, but he ended it with but he did it, you know,
Yeah.
he did it, and if he were to go into any locker room in the WWE or even the NFL or the NBA, he's going to beat the shit out of that person.
Yeah.
And that's what's going to happen. So it's wrestling is amazing. I really wish you were into it. And it hurts my heart. I was actually going to invite you to come with me to WWE at the forum, but
He said, now you're out.
no, he wouldn't return my calls. He was like,
Oh, wow.
I'm busy. Pippi Longstocking's on.
I don't watch wrestling either, but one of my training partners, Jaylene Roblejo, if I'm sorry if I didn't say your name right, but one of my training partners, Jaylene, she's actually she does amateur wrestling, but she's also an MMA fighter. She's the current champion for Epic Fighting.
Oh,
Wow.
nice.
Yeah,
Okay.
But yeah, wrestling's very real.
It's very
real.
popular with MMA fighters too, because Shayna Baszler, who later went on to become a wrestling fighter. I think she's still with WWE.
She's still with WWE, and she's 42 years old, and she's still killing it.
I met her at an Invicta event. She was with Jessamine Duke and Marina Shafir. It was everybody except
in
for
wrestling now.
Oh, is she?
She for a much lesser than WWE, but it's she is there.
Yeah, she's
wrestling.
That was their thing, though. They like that's not like a new thing. They were totally into wrestling back then.
Ronda Rousey, huge wrestling fan.
Yeah,
right.
But doesn't know how to keep her mouth shut about wrestling fans. She because wrestling fans are very fickle. They're very Monday morning quarterbacks.
Right. Yep.
They should have did this, should have that. Like, dude, you're fat. Relax. Like, I would never critique. Like, what are you talking about? I don't look stupid. But wrestling is Tom, I really would love to take you to a wrestling event.
I'm down. I'll go.
And because we were going to go to WrestleMania. We went to WrestleMania 39 at SoFi.
Nice.
And 83,000 people the first night, 85,000 the second night. Those are numbers that pro sports teams are not pulling off.
Right.
The Rams have never had that many people in their at SoFi.
And I still believe that the Rams give away a lot of tickets to influencers.
They definitely do.
A lot. Because there's a lot of famous Rams fans that didn't like the Rams back in the day.
Right. Yeah, dude. Those 500 sections are not filled. They're filled by the Boys and Girls Club, dude.
You're right.
Yeah.
It's funny. There was somebody that was raising money for something, and I'm not going to go into a whole lot of specifics, but he asked me if I wanted tickets to a Rams game, and I was like, no, I think I'm good. And he goes, I've got 250 of them. Nobody wants them.
Yeah.
250 tickets.
Wow.
Yeah, those things that WWE is able to pull off with their marketing, with their global presence. Look, we talked about it when Vince McMahon became the number 3 for Endeavor or for TKO. The first thing, he and Dana White were at odds for years.
Right.
And Vince now is Dana White's boss,
Right.
and got UFC the Saudi Arabia deal.
Dude.
That was Vince that got him that
see?
deal, and they're like, they want Vince negotiating the TV rights for UFC coming up. So, are you right?
Go ahead. I got
Oh my God!
I got a cramp in my leg.
Oh jeez.
Oh shit.
You want me to suck it out? I rub it out? It'd be funny if I wasn't a comic. I was just a homeless person just sitting here like.
You're gonna have my co-host and my and our guest never come back. There was way too much going on. Way too much personal information being shared. No, I had my legs started cramping up, and I was trying to be quiet about it, and then my feet. I've got like size 15 and a half feet.
Do you really?
Yeah, like when I move my feet around, it's not like a easy thing. It's like trying to dock a boat in a
trying to move like
levee.
a sleigh.
There's you're talking about UFC in San Diego, right? Coming up.
Oh yeah.
Dude, I would love to go to that. I will buy tickets.
Let's do it.
Let's go. I would love to go on a field trip to San Diego and do it. And
That's
I'm really
my-
sad. Dude,
that's
you know
my
what?
old
I would
arena.
love for you to come to the Royal Rumble event.
Yeah,
Matter of fact, I will buy your ticket. I would love for you to be here.
I will come.
We'll swatch it because I invited my other best friend and he's not gonna come.
Not gonna come?
No.
There
He
you
has
go.
his kids at night. I know what the real reason is.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm not watching these guys.
He knows me on Saturdays. He knows.
But I would love for you to come. And it's going to be a fun time. It's going to be an open bar. I will cover the ticket. You come out and have a good time.
I got you, brother.
Awesome, man. It'll
Yep.
be it'll be a really good time. And I'm going to give away some of my WWE memorabilia stuff.
Now you giving away a belt?
No.
Yeah, no belt.
Though I have 4 replica belts. Two of them were over $1,000. So no, I love Wheelhouse, and I will not give them a belt.
Yeah.
He has a whole bunch of WWF, like old school WWF bath toys that he's gonna give away. Like,
I have
dude,
one that John Cena autographed.
You guys both have like all
Why
kinds
Why does King Kong Buddy smell like zest?
That's Coast. That's Coast. Not Zest.
Why did you Oh shit.
You know, he tried to get into stand-up comedy.
Oh, King Kong Bundy did?
Yeah, right before he died.
Oh, really? There's a lot of wrestlers that crossed over into comedy, but
And
nobody
that's
really.
bullshit.
super
I hate that.
successfully.
I hate that, dude. I hate that because
You worked with a few of them, though.
Mick Foley was very nice. But when wrestling was always protected. You couldn't just break into wrestling.
Yeah.
And here come these schlubs like trying to break into stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
It's like, bro, really? And you're not funny? Mick Foley, great guy.
Yeah, they jump out and collectively take like 40 improv weekends a month or a year away from comics.
I will mention that Jake Roberts is a dick.
And I'll probably delete that from the podcast.
That I said that?
No, that I said the improv thing.
Oh, yeah, it's all right. But I will say Jake Roberts is an asshole.
That's a bummer. I'm sad to hear that.
He wanted me to work for him. And we were at Levity, and I put most of the people in there.
Yeah.
Because I just know how to market that. And so he goes, hey, brother.
You worked with him the second time around. The first time he didn't have very many people
First time
around.
he didn't have any people. His daughter, I worked with his daughter to get him more people. And she's like, if anything you can do to help, I go, I know. They sent me a check. They were great. However, my buddy Alex Enzel worked with him, and I heard some stories. So I was like, he's not that nice. So he came in, and at this point, this is like 2019, so I'm getting a lot of headline nights already with the improv. So he goes, hey, brother, like what you did out there, I want you to come work for me. I said, oh, yeah, I would love to. But we got to talk because I'm already getting headline nights, and for me to come work for you could be a pay cut. He goes, I'll take care of you, brother. I said, all right. Oh, I'm in, but I ain't carrying no bags. And he goes, what the fuck did you say to me? I go, I ain't carrying your bags, and you know exactly what I mean. And he goes, get the fuck out of here. Like, he threw me out of the green room and everything.
Wow.
I thought I was going to get in trouble. I thought really that they were going to, like, Levity was going to be pissed.
Wow.
Yeah, didn't
Was
work.
that it? So, yeah, there's some of that. I used to call it big dicking, where the headliner would bring somebody out on the road and expect them to arrange all and it's okay if that's your agreement going in, but if you're like, okay, I want you to go down there, have all my merch set up before sound check, and you need to get up and watch the same movie I'm watching at the same time and go eat the same restaurant I'm eating, like there's you've been through it and you've seen it. I haven't really been through it on that level. Like when I was at Laughs Unlimited as my home club as an MC, I would hang out a lot with headliners and like offer to give them rides and stuff like that. And there was a lot of that where it was. I mean, I'll be honest. The club paid me to drive them to radio and stuff like that. That was part of my.
This was Laughs Unlimited. Is that where I was just at?
Different owner though. Back in those days. Yeah.
Hey, can we tell them that story?
Which one?
The one that happened with me.
You tell whatever story you want. It's your story, dog.
Check this out. So we were at Tom's old club, right? Laughs Unlimited.
Okay.
And I had already been a little not from Tom, but I had been already like, hey, just be on your best behavior because that owner is like, she can be something else. I don't even give a fuck if
we never even talked about it ahead of time.
Yeah, so I get over there and she tells, because a lot of what I do is I interact with the audience, and I'm very quick-witted, so I do that. Well, she tells Corey and Chad, tell them no crowd work, cut that shit out. So they tell me, and I'm like, fuck that. So I do it again, second show, a lot of crowd work. She goes, if he does that again, he's out of here. And so Corey goes, dude, stop the crowd work. I said, okay, I will. I promise. And like a gentleman, on Saturday, I went and did 30 minutes of crowd work, and she lost her mind. She was so mad. She came up to me. She came to hand me my check. I go, hey, thank you so much. And she dropped it right in front of me. I was like,
She prides herself on
being fat.
She has a wall. She has a wall of people that she's fired or will not hire again, and she prides herself on that. And she shows her little friends that, the comics that'll hang out.
Well, if her friends are like her, there ain't nothing little about them. I don't care if I ever
Comments
go back.
made on the podcast by Phil Medina are not representative thoughts of the Walkout or the Walkout or its crew.
Yeah, this is all my thoughts. And you know who you are, guy. You know who you are, fella.
Well, I got fired from the club for a gig that wasn't even. She booked it, but it wasn't even at the club. It was at an outdoor gig. They send you these contracts before you go in, and it says, absolutely no drinking before this show. Apparently, it's a trigger for this lady. I thought I'd make a joke about it, right? And so I got there early, so that because she seemed like she was going to be uptight or whatever. And then she's like, "Is there anything I can get for you?" And I go, "Just point me to the nearest bar, and I'll be back in 20 minutes." She did not make eye contact with me the rest of the night. And then after the show, which I have the audio. The set was fine. It wasn't my best set ever, but it was a clean set outside with a bunch of chickens watching, like literal chickens. I'm not calling people chickens. Like literally, it was out in Fair Oaks. She emails me in the middle of the night. And she goes, "You have to know that things didn't go well. I think I have to." And she fired me from a gig that I had scheduled for a few weeks away. Like, keep in mind, that's in my hometown, and
Right.
like I had family and all this. Like, whatever. And this, like, she didn't even have the decency to call me. Like, she was at my wedding. Like, she was like, this is somebody that I knew and was around my family and stuff. I've never talked about this before.
Wow.
It's so wild, dude. And for her to fire, listen, I got fired from an NA event. It was like 500 people there, and I was headlining the show. And what I said was like, and we were at some place in Arizona. It was weird, and I go, man, if I was gonna relapse, it'd be right here, dude. Yeah, that did not.
Really?
Yeah, they fired me. I was supposed to do a second show, and they brought in Darren Carter. I know, right?
Get your flashlight. We have an emergency.
He breaks out of a case.
I did an NA meeting in Ventura, and it was like in an old it was obviously like an old auto maintenance place, like a small one. And so the first thing I said when I went on stage, I go, "Wow, this is a dream come true." I said, "I've always wanted to perform in a hollowed out Jiffy Lube in front of a bunch of people that don't have weed." And they fell out, dude. It was like, and they loved it. It was a fun gig.
That's a good one.
Yeah, just gotta just not talk about relapse your first second in, maybe.
I was like, wow, what is this place?
Straight
Like,
into it.
I just went. I go, man, if I was gonna relapse, it'd be right here. But yeah, so we've dealt with some stuff, and by the way, thank you for having me on. I really this has been a lot of
appreciate
fun,
you, bro.
Yeah, we got to do our end of the year awards. We haven't done that. Do we have any? Let's first go with our fight of the year. Did you have a candidate for fight of the year?
For sure. The fight of the year that I thought was Adesanya and Piera.
Oh yeah.
And the reason why I say that is because these two had a rivalry that came from Muay Thai that fought. He got knocked out. He follows him to the UFC and knocks him out. And then he comes back and knocks him out. But it's also more of a story with these two because Adesanya actually had a lot of animosity, not for Piera, but for Piera's son, his little son, because his son was there when Piera knocked him out in Muay Thai, and his son made fun of him there. And that's always stayed in Adesanya's mind and heart, and he always wanted the chance to get him back. So he did. When he knocked his dad out at that UFC fight, he found the little kid.
That's right.
Pointed at him and fell on the ground and knocked himself out so that he can remember that. And so that to me that was the greatest like rivalry and fight. 2 knockouts, 1 for each of those guys. That's where my award goes.
What about you, Lanxton? Did you have a favorite fight of the 2023?
Mark just stole my favorite fight.
Yeah, it was.
Like you said, the history behind it is just insane, and I know how good Izzy felt just getting that knockout because I already know how good I feel after a win. So imagining the history that you would have between me picturing the history that he had between him and Pereira and the beef that he had with his son, I couldn't even fathom how happy he was. Yeah.
When that little kid was crying, bro, it was the best thing in the world. I was like,
That was the first time the country all at once was like okay with a kid being shamed like that.
Yeah,
like
we were all
close
good
up
with
on
it.
the face.
Sure.
What about you, Phil? Did you have a favorite fight of the year?
yes, absolutely, I sure did. Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania 39.
Man, that was a good
it was
one.
amazing.
A lot of butter was shed that day. A lot
In
of
front
butter.
of 85,000 people, and I was there. It was absolutely amazing. No, like I said, I don't know, Tom.
I was gonna go with like some Natalie Nunn and some Bad Girls Club Atlanta
wow.
fights.
I watched that.
I love Natalie Nunn.
I watched that with my lady. That's there. There's more fights on there than UFC every weekend.
It sure is.
Seriously though, the fight of the year, my brother and his wife. That was probably the best thing I've ever seen in my life. She
had
has
it
got a
coming.
mean hook, bro.
Nice. Oh wow.
Never seen a guillotine put on like that before. Ever.
How about fighter of the year? You got a fighter of the year?
Let's see. My fighter of the year. Well, you know who my fighter is. You know, I got love for John Jones, but since we haven't really seen much of John Jones right now, man, I don't really have a favorite fighter right now.
No, nobody. What about you,
Nope, 'cause-
Langston?
Yeah.
Fighter of the year. That's a hard one. That's a hard one. I feel like
I'm gonna go with Natalie Nunn. No, I'm kidding.
I feel like a lot of fighters in 2023 accomplished a lot of things, so it's kind of hard to just categorize one and pick.
Yeah.
What my favorite was.
I didn't watch enough fights this year to pick anybody to win anything.
Yeah, and everybody lost. So
I think you skipped me.
I know. I was coming to you.
I think you skipped me.
No, I wasn't going to skip you. Did you have a favorite fighter? Or do you have a fighter of the year for 2023, Mr.
I sure
Phil
did.
Medina?
It's going to be Cody Rhodes.
Cody.
Cody Rhodes. There it is.
Baby.
We have a favorite quote of the year from the UFC, right?
What is it?
Let's see if I can
Oh,
get
my
it right.
cousin.
Hey everybody, really
Nope,
quick.
that's not
Just
it.
wanted
I love when
to-
you do that.
That's another podcast that I produce. Let's see. Is this
Don't
it?
make it to the fight, you lose the fight. I guess all those fucking memes worked.
That's it.
My cousin's wild.
Kevin Holland
Matter of fact,
calling out Ian Garrity and his.
I'll give Kevin Holland Fighter of the Year award.
Yeah, my cousin
Yeah.
worked. He worked his way back from a crazy injury.
Yeah.
He's always fighting through adversity. Great dude. Don't ever want to run up on him because he's a great dude, but he's not like somebody you just want to run up to because he is very skittish and he's might liable to punch your lights out.
He's nuts.
Yeah,
I remember the first fight that I really took notice of him. He talked the entire fight nonstop.
Yeah, it's
Big mouth.
Yeah, that's his thing. His big mouth. He's gonna talk himself into fights. He's gonna talk himself into everything he can.
And
Test him.
he's the only person I saw that knocked somebody out from sitting down position
Sure.
too.
And
That
he
was
knocked
amazing.
out a monster. That person he knocked out wasn't no bum.
This is Jacare, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's a Hall of Fame. That dude's he's a serious fighter. And knocked him out from the ground. So yeah, my cousin's a fool.
Do we have anybody want to speak on fight announcements or anything like that coming up? Any directions?
I'll keep
in
you
my head?
guys posted about the fights that are coming up. You already know January 20th, I'll be at Star, but I'll be there with my boy Tom. I'll be there set up with my fight shop, running the podcast. I do have the new gym opening up. It's already actually open this week. We'll have a soft opening Saturday, which is just come by, visit, check it out.
This week?
Yeah.
Oh, that's quick.
This Saturday, yeah. So
I'm gonna bring the kids by.
yeah, so it's acquired a gym that is in Newbury Park. That gym was Ken Rose Muay Thai Warriors, and we're gonna keep the legacy of Ken Rose Muay Thai Warriors going. It's been there 26 years. That's it's like something that you can't just come in and then put your name on a stamp on it. Everyone in that whole vicinity knows him, and he passed the blessing off to me and my crew, my coach, and also Dennis, Coach Chapman. So we're just lucky. We're just grateful to even be able to have the space passed over. We got a huge space, with full boxing. I got a boxing ring. I have a half cage so we can do wall work. I have whole mat. I have bags. I have stuff for lifting weights. 2,700 square feet filled with
Got a reason to come to town more often, my
for
brother.
sure. So
Most definitely will be
yeah.
stopping
So
by.
Are you hiring right now? Because I would love to be a punching bag. And
I've already got the custodial gig if one of us opens up.
no.
I
just
like
want-
the late night.
You can hit me, and you can just swing me from the thing. I'll be fine. That's amazing. Congratulations, really, and
Thank
to
you.
have that legacy behind that is really awesome. I
Yeah.
would we should go. Why don't we go work out at his gym? We'll pay.
I mean, I tell him all the time. When you're a friend of mine, it's not always about money. Of course, I've had to learn over time. Time is money. So
Yeah.
But when you have friends, the one thing about martial arts is it's supposed to be taught to all. Bruce Lee said it. It's supposed to be taught, and if it's good, then money will come. But in the beginning, you're just supposed to give it to anyone who wants to learn it. You're saving lives with it if you think about it. So anytime I have friends, family who say, "Hey, I want to start. I want to do." I instantly tell them, "Come down. No, it's not about money. It's really not. Because if you didn't have money, I would still teach it to you."
Do you have any fight stuff coming up?
Yeah. Speaking of fight news, January 27th, a bunch of my teammates will be fighting for UNF. So I'll be out in Los Angeles for that event. And in March, I have my IKF Muay Thai title fight.
There you go.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
It's out in the IE. We might get out there and try to get the kids out to see that one.
Yeah, it'll be out in Ontario Convention Center. So.
Yeah, that's good. That's where they hold all the IKF.
Yeah,
which is fun.
Yeah. So
What's the date on that again?
I believe the 2nd of March.
Yeah,
I'm down to go. I'm down to go to that.
Second
Yeah, it's
March.
going to be fun.
Yeah, I'll definitely go to that, bro.
It is a good time. You see a lot of fights. You see, it's supposed to be point based, so no one gets hurt, but that's not what happens, because when one person gets hit, the next thing you know, somebody's knocked out. But it's awesome. It's a great time.
Oh yeah, I remember I was doing like you said, it's quote unquote point based. I was doing one of the fights, and as soon as the fight started, the dude came out swinging super hard, and I just kind of looked at my coach and then looked over at the ref and the judges, and everybody just kind of gave me that head nod, like the okay, and I was like, cool, and I finished the fight from there. So
yeah, I knocked out an opponent there at IKF.
Yeah,
and it's supposed to be point based,
Quote,
but it happens. you get a clean shot in the face and you just happen to fall down.
You ran into them over there, didn't you? Did you run into him and Vegeta over there?
Yeah, that's where I see them a lot at those tournaments. And those tournaments are good for beginners, for people who just want to find out where you're at in the sport.
Yeah.
You can do boxing, Muay Thai, wrestling, jiu-jitsu. They have it all.
I've seen people there that are actually current MMA title holders.
Right, they're
that
there.
are competing there.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, there's celebrities too that are getting into that. So you see a lot of celebrities that are trying to
I
be
would
competitive.
love to have a celebrity. I'll knock your block off.
Oh yeah, you're gonna wrestle Chris
Baker.
Pratt, or not wrestle him, but you're gonna Muay Thai him.
Man, I will fight anyone. I want to fight those damn Paul brothers. I want to fight whoever.
Those Paul brothers have some legit fucking.
I will legitly
Fist.
kick their ass.
All right, you're talking about,
I have all the faith in the world in you.
I just said I will legitly kick their ass. No, legitly.
Jake Paul, Logan Paul, 2-on-2.
Yeah, there you go. See.
Well, I'm sure they'll be headlining a Levity Live someday soon.
well, Logan Paul's a WWE superstar now.
Yes, they
Oh,
do.
is he?
He signed with the WWE, and for like some crazy amount, like $50 million for over 5 years.
Wow.
So he doesn't even need to box anymore.
Yeah, I give those dudes a lot of props. All jokes aside, what they've done for mixed martial arts fighters, what they're doing for like boxing and boxers, it's a big deal. They're making sure that these guys are getting the money that they deserve. So, all jokes aside, those dudes are doing a great thing. And it's awesome that they get to be wrestlers as well. Because it's not like they suck. They don't. They know what they're doing. They have fans. So at the end of the day, you just have to let that be known.
That's when my friend Maureen, she fights out of Florida, and she was telling me that she goes, people kind of underestimate these guys.
No,
they're actually putting in the work out
They
there.
can really fight.
Yeah, they put the work.
They can really fight.
If you just assume that they're taking the shortcuts and
No, they're not. They know how to fight.
That's pretty awesome. Well, I can't wait to see what the year has in store for you in the cage, my friend.
For sure. We'll see. We'll sit back. I will definitely keep everybody, posted on these pro fights, which way I choose to go. And stay tuned.
Now tell us one more time about our event coming up here at Wheelhouse. It's the
WWE Royal Rumble watch party.
That sounds so much like there's bathtub bubbles
You're
involved.
horrible, dude.
The Royal Rumble.
The Royal Rumble watch party going to be here at Wheelhouse VIP Lounge. Tickets are on sale now. Just send me a DM at Comedian Phil Medina on all social media platforms. And we're going to be doing all kinds of crazy giveaways, raffles. I think Z wants to give away a bong. I'm going to give away some memorabilia from the WWF days. And it's going to be awesome. The winner of the Royal Rumble challenges the WWE champion, whichever he chooses. And there you go.
Let's say hi to Denise really quick. Denise, you want to come say hi? Sure. We were just saying happy New Year to everybody, and
There he is.
we were talking about the New Year show. We were glad that you were able to join us.
Oh my God! What an opportunity! What the energy! Phil, Tom,
It was awesome. You did a great job.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I'm Denise. What's your name?
Mark.
Yep. Nice to meet you. I think I met you.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And what's your name?
Langston.
Mark had a VIP booth right in the middle of the room,
That's right.
and Lanxton was in the IE at the time, but he's here now.
Okay. Well, you know what? It's good to see you guys.
Yep.
You know, you guys are sitting here just chilling, and my goddaughter's her birthday, and we just came from Mandarin House, and she's like, hey, what about that lounge? She's like, don't you know people over there? I said, well, come on, let's just go on over there and see.
Nice.
And look at it. You guys are here.
You have any leftovers from the restaurant or no? Like maybe some garlic bread or something? Maybe?
Hey, let me tell you what's funny. So, Will's ordered some egg flour soup and some egg rolls. And the lady comes over. He said, I didn't order no egg roll. You order egg rolls. Oh, no. You order egg rolls. Oh, no. And she argued with him, and that's all everybody talked about at night. Every time when she brought his food and she left his plates in front of us, like, because you order egg rolls. She was funny as hell.
Well, thanks for stopping by, Denise. So good to see you.
Thank you, Denise.
It was great ringing in the new year with you.
Bye, Mark. Phil.
All right. You know you ordered them egg rolls too. Don't lie. We know. Good night.
Well, you got some editing to do on this thing.
Nah, I'll put it up like it is, man.
That's part of show.
That's part of a lounge show. Like, you know, like when we do the shows live at the fights, man, a lot of times they'll put us next to a speaker and they've got the bass blasting, so we got to move and all that. But we leave it all in there because it's part of the atmosphere.
That's awesome.
Sure.
And that's what's great about the Zoom products too, is they kind of have a good duck down where it's not too obnoxious. None of the background stuff is ever
We've been in
obnoxious.
some crazy situations where we're like, this show's about to be horrible. We weren't, and we'll play it back. You're like, what? You can hear what we're saying and kind of muffled out the back.
Yeah, that first one when they set us right next to the speakers. Yeah.
Yeah, we're grateful. The show was just supposed to happen. The universe made it happen.
We
thank you, Phil. We thank you, Brother Lanxton. It truthfully has to be one of our best shows that we've had to date. So.
Oh, man.
We thank both
that
of
was
you guys.
awesome. Good job. Thank you.
Awesome.
He's handing out awards already for 2024. Look at you. No, we really do appreciate both of you guys. And Phil, I mean, I can't wait to see what the year has in store for us. We got a lot of big plans. We're gonna do some podcasting stuff of our own, talking about some 80s TV shows and some 90s TV shows. We got all kinds of fun stuff coming.
And when we get off here, I've got something to tell you. The adoption went through. I'm yours.
Oh. Your name's Arnold now.
Oh my God.
Oh, I was. I know what you said that for now. I didn't mean that. That was Different Strokes.
Yeah.
Remember, I worked with Todd Bridges. I always go to my first place is going to be Different Strokes.
Yeah, that's wild.
I mean, that sounded bad. It made me sound like a prick. All right. Well, I think they're turning off TVs. Maybe we.
Yeah, I think it's 5 a.m.
Somebody just handed me some keys. I don't know what that's all about.
Lock up.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us today. And thanks, everybody, for listening to The Walkout. If you can, please hit the like button and maybe leave us a comment. It'd be really cool to hear what you think, who you'd like to hear more of, who you'd like to hear less of, what you want to hear us talking about even. Whatever you want to talk about, get in there. Get in our comments.
Yep.
Get up in our PMs, DMs, whatever you want to call it. All right. Thanks for listening to The Walkout.